So big topic, the election, what went wrong, what was the fail? And I just couldn't help feeling the day after the election about this issue, like this funk that everybody kind of felt. And I think it came a lot from kind of expectations and disappointment. I don't think I have to tell people what this chart actually represents, right? We don't have to label the axes. This is the New York Times, real-time projections. Thanks, Josh Benton, for having this on his site so I could steal it. What happened there? This was my polling place in New York. The duty of journalism, I think, is to give people the information they need so that they can make informed decisions when they're going to their polling places. But did we get that information? I don't think so. Clearly, this is a shot from flying here today. The flyover country, what was going on? We were in our enclaves, people on the coast, we didn't know what was really going on out there, and I think it really represents a design failure of journalism. There's been a lot of talk about fake news, and is that the issue? And this kind of echoing some of the things that Richard said earlier. I mean, people are doing great work. I think it's a problem. I think there's definitely a lot we can talk about it, we can think about it. But really, it's nothing new. This shot just so happened I took of a San Francisco newsstand, with the Inquirer actually was above Time magazine there on the newsstand. Fake news has been around for a long time. It's not something that has necessarily, caused the collapse of democracy before. It's interesting, that number on the Inquirer cover, I just checked out, is that fake news? It turns out actually the number was real. That is actually the correct number of how many people were apprehended at the border, although their point was that it's really bad, and actually the truth in the report was that it's going down. So, fake news, a lot of people are pointing fingers at the platforms. What is the role there? I still feel that that's kind of a misdirection. Yes, there are definitely things the platforms could do, but we're giving ourselves up to the platforms. We're beholden to them in some ways. We need to look at news products themselves and what we can actually build and really think deeply about who the user is and what we're building for them. 15 seconds. I put in a gratuitous shot of my baby here to just liven things up in the middle. But my point actually in putting, this is Eli, he's 21 months old. So, I'm a new parent, I'm a user. How would the news serve me? Are we really thinking about users as individuals, not the mass audience, to echo something that Jeff likes to talk about? How can we think about that? How can we put together this complicated patchwork of the country? I don't know how many of you know what this is. It's the election results with county size based on population, showing really how complicated things are, and we need to go to those places and explain it. I think part of this is about thinking about cities and localities and niches. Let's get back to the heart of what's going on here. Let's go out into the communities in the country, into that vast purple space, and see what's going on. Let's find new ways to engage with people. This is the listening post in New Orleans using ground source to do text messaging to get people's input about what they're thinking about, what they're caring about. We need to get out there and be aggressive about getting out there and talking to people. It's going to take a lot of collaboration, too. That's what this is about here. I think the beauty of some of this is we're not necessarily competing. If you think about local news, we're not competing in different markets. We can share technologies. We can use things together. And we can think of interesting things to do product-wise that get beyond just we put up 500 words and 3 photos and a video. How can we do creative things with mobile, with geolocation, where we actually create conversations with our communities? The beauty of this, I think, is actually in terms of business model, this means you're aligned with your community, that people will pay for things. We've seen amazing increases in donations and subscription. So there's something there where the business model makes more sense than advertising. We can steal from tech companies and learn from them, just like the tech companies steal from one another. There's a lot there. There's no reason why we can't kind of leverage some of the ideas that are coming out of that. This quote keeps coming to mind, I don't know why, when I think about this problem, from Justice Louis Brandeis. This is a famous written decision about free speech. And basically the idea is the way to combat speech that you might not like is more speech. So I think if we kind of have a digital corollary for this now, the way to combat bad speech or to get more truth out there is more products, more engagement, more design, more experiments, more thinking. It's not trying to put limits on things. It's not trying to ban things. It's not trying to decide what is real news and what is not news. So I hope we all have an amazing discussion about this weekend. It's an honor to speak to all of you about this. It's pretty intimidating doing one of these Ignite talks here. So thank you very much for my 5 minutes. Thanks.